Hope you're not trying to impress me.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most notoriously terrible fantasy films. Plot points will be discussed, so beware of spoilers.
Your chance of failure is overwhelming.
I'm sure.
Number 10, Aragon.
The time of the Dragon Riders has come again.
The stage was set for an awesome book-to-movie adaptation with this flick. Who wouldn't enjoy watching a poor boy transform into a dragon rider to save the world? Sadly, bookworms were let down.
He knows about dragons.
He knows about dragons. I'll be the judge of that.
The visual effects made the movie seem like it was created on Windows Movie Maker. Instead of the audience feeling immersed and part of an imaginative new world, fans couldn't help but direct their attention to the poorly edited scenes. Even those who weren't familiar with the story prior to seeing the film found it was pretty easy to guess what would go down next.
Saphira, I didn't think I could do it.
You shouldn't have. It was reckless.
Number 9, Dungeons and Dragons.
You know what? I got a new name for dumb. Ridley. This is the Ridleyest thing I ever heard of.
Transforming the lore of an incredibly popular role-playing game into a film seems like a great idea, yet somehow, this rendition lacked the magical essence of the original. The plot is relatively simple. A ruler seeks to defeat a bad sorcerer. With such a straightforward storyline, how could things go wrong?
You must be joking.
The cast included some names and faces familiar to audiences, but the awful directing canceled out any positive aspects they brought. Everything about the film felt like a lower quality version of other fantasy blockbusters. Let's not forget how the film was nominated for 8 different Stinkers Bad Movie Awards categories.
Not so talented, eh, Mr. Ridley?
Number 8, Artemis Fowl.
And the remaining question, Artemis Fowl, antiquities dealer or criminal mastermind?
A person discovering a supernatural world while trying to find their missing parent isn't a new plot. Yet fans adored author Owen Colfer's take on it as they witnessed Artemis, a very intelligent tween seeking his father and trying to cure his ailing mother. This adaptation missed the mark though, adapting several plot lines from the books in a half-hearted manner and mixing in some half-baked ideas of its own.
Scared, Artemis?
A little bit. But I prefer scared to dead if possible.
Despite the presence of fairies and dwarfs, it doesn't feel otherworldly, which is essential for the genre. The humor is forced, and the characterizations lack spark. With the pacing of a snail, this lackluster flick turns what could have been an awesome fantasy into a mediocre mess.
Our world has never been so much in danger.
Number 7, The Mummy. Reviving an old franchise is always risky, and sadly, this was not a gamble they should have taken. Just as the main character in the film unearthed an evil spirit, this movie dug up nothing but bad reviews.
This is not a tomb. It's a prison.
What could have been a modern reboot of an enchanting classic, this version completely loses the campy charm of the OG flicks. It also was needlessly complicated and was hard to keep up with the seemingly infinite plot points.
Jenny, respectfully, I'm not interested in archaeological jargon right now.
Lots of people love a good action movie, but this was supposed to be a fantasy cinematic masterpiece too. World building is one of the most important aspects for these type of films, yet this rendition did nothing except confuse moviegoers.
Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
Number 6, Pan.
Goodbye, Peter!
Audiences typically expect to leave theaters mesmerized after a fantasy movie, not feeling underwhelmed once the credits roll. The origin story for some of the most beloved Peter Pan characters should have been effortlessly magical, but audiences saw none of the mystical flair that shaped their childhoods.
Oh, what the bloody hell am I?
You can go feeling sorry for yourself all you want, kid. But knowing where you're from, that's half of knowing who you are.
This take follows the titular preteen as he's unwillingly taken to Neverland and learns who he is meant to be. The boy who wouldn't grow up is associated with crazy fun antics, which is exactly what this film lacked. Even the CGI was missing sufficient razzle-dazzle.
I love you, my son. My Peter. My Peter Pan.
Number 5, Dragon Ball Evolution. Discovering you're meant to stop a powerful alien from conquering Earth with Dragon Balls isn't your typical 18th birthday present.
Beauty awaits.
With a plot like this, anything can happen, right? Which should be great because one of the best parts of fantasy films is trying to guess what's going to happen next. How will the underdog win the battle? How will the powerful supernatural being be defeated?
It doesn't feel right. I must be missing something.
Unfortunately, not only is this a predictable jumble of storylines riddled with cliches, it didn't encapsulate the core features of the manga. Instead of rooting for the heroes, viewers were left confused as to what was even going on. Number 4, Gods of Egypt.
Only a madman would try such a thing.
Where do you suppose we could find someone so mad?
An evil god is pretty bad news to begin with. Now, add in the terror of the deity overpowering ancient Egypt and making everyone suffer? Yikes. The concept of gods and mortals living together should have catapulted this movie into success, and with an $140 million budget, there's no excuse for these poorly executed visual effects.
If I even attempted to explain, your brain would liquefy and run out of your ears.
Somehow, this film defies all odds, or shall we say, gods, by making a big budget look cheap. In other circumstances, the terrible editing could have caused quite the chuckle, but the snooze-fest pacing honestly just left people bored. Why in the world was this 2 hours long?
I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. Including this.
Accepted.
Number 3, The Last Airbender.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah. Guess so.
The story of a boy learning how to take control of the 4 different elements in order to bring stability to the world was enormously popular on television. When fans found out their favorite show was going to be adapted into a movie, it was both exciting and stressful. Would it be amazing or a complete disaster?
Why are you acting this way?
It's almost comical how director M. Night Shyamalan manages to dim the bright spirit of the animated series. All of the extraordinary elements that enthralled viewers with the wonderful world of benders were lost through the poor editing and acting.
They want you to be their avatar. We all do.
Number 2, The Nutcracker in 3D. The 19th century dance performance that is the basis for this film is quite whimsical on its own. Imagine how creative one could get if they put it on the big screen.
You can talk. Of course I can talk. I knew you weren't just a wooden toy.
At first glance, the film sticks to the plot of a child and her companions saving her Nutcracker doll from a bad rodent royal family. That's about where the similarities end. While originally known as a lighthearted holiday experience, it morphed into an incredibly dark retake.
Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one.
No one would guess this was tailored towards children with all the scary visuals. Instead of bringing cozy, fantastical vibes, it probably inspired more shaking in the boots.
Are you going to tell me where the prince is? Shall I bite your fingers off?
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions. Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. For a movie about wizards, it doesn't feel magical.
Who will love you now, Dumbledore?
You're all alone.
In the Name of the King, a dungeon siege tale, lower quality dupe of other popular films.
Is this where we pay for our sins?
No, Norik. This is where we pay for our virtues. Sins are more than welcome here.
The Legend of Hercules. This is neither action nor fantasy film. At least pick a genre.
Have you come to bring the wrath of Zeus upon me, boy?
No! I come to you as a mortal. To bring the wrath of Alcides upon the tyrants who killed my mother.
Jack Frost. Snowman? More like scary special effects, man.
All right. Snow Dad's better than no Dad. Let's go.
Come on.
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. The modern take no one asked for.
Why have enemies when you can have friends?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Troll 2.
Who are you? Are you one of the monsters?
Well, I've been called a lot of things, but not a monster.
The marketing team for this cinematic feature seemed to not care about accuracy. This is in fact not a follow-up to the film with the same name, but is instead completely unrelated. The premise is that a kid must save his vacation town from evil goblins who like to munch on people. Why this isn't called Goblins is beyond us. Not to be dramatic or anything, but several articles deemed it one of the worst movies ever created. Bad special effects? Check. Terrible acting? Bingo. The low quality snatched audiences out of the supernatural world and left them rolling their eyes at how bad it is. I mean, who could ever forget Arnold's infamous line about getting eaten?
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my God!
Which of these terrible fantasy movies have you seen? Let us know in the comments down below.
You will forgive me, won't you?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.